Okay, so we are on the record in ERD case number CR201801901960 with EEOC case number 26G2018012055C. The complainant is Willie Michelle. The respondent is Associated Bank. I'm Administrative Law Judge Stephanie Brown. It is Friday, November 19, 2021 at approximately 9:35 a.m. We're here for the second day of hearing on the issue of probable cause in a case involving those two parties. When we left off yesterday, Mr. Michelle had completed his testimony, and Attorney Bullocks had completed his cross-examination of Mr. Michelle. So I believe today we're going to start with the complainant's next witness, who is Mary Coddington. Is that correct, Mr. Michelle?
Yes.
All right. And I'll just note for the record as well that, again, present here today is Mr. Michelle, Attorney Warren Bullocks, representing the respondent, and then the business representative, Mary Coddington for Associated Bank. So with that, Ms. Coddington, I need to swear you in. If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the testimony you will give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. And could you state your name for me, please, and spell it for the record?
Mary Coddington, Coddington.
And what is your current position with Associated Bank?
Senior HR advisor,
And how long have you been in that position?
7 years.
Okay. And where do you work? Like what location, what branch do you physically work at if you do work at some specific location?
I'm currently considered hybrid remote, but the Portage, Wisconsin branch was my work location.
And that was back in the 2016, 2017 timeframe as well?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Michelle, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and ask your questions of Ms. Coddington.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Judge Brown. Good morning, Ms. Coddington.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning, ma'am?
Good.
Okay. And it's okay that I call you Ms. Coddington. I've been saying that quite a lot. That's okay to address you that way?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. Just let you know what I will be doing today. I will ask you a few questions, okay? Some of them I write down. You might see me looking down, kind of going through them. Some of them, as we go, also I will ask you some questions. What you will see also at some point, there's certain document that I will find. Now, some of them already have exhibit numbers, but some of them I will outline them and allow the judge to, once we get to past exhibit 4, I believe the judge can note them as for herself or on record at exhibit, 4, 5, etc., just for her own record. When I have you to read those documents, we will do it as it was yesterday. You will read through them. At some point, I might stop you, okay? And ask you some question to elaborate to what you're reading, okay? For my further understanding, okay? So
Okay.
it might be a kind of a slow process going, so bear with me there. Sounds good?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Some of the question I just heard you again, because that I understand your full name is Mary Coddington, correct?
Mm-hmm. That is
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you mentioned, what was your title again? Senior HR advisor? Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And you've been with the company for 7 years?
No, I've been in my HR advisor role for 7 years. I've been with Associated Bank for 33 years.
For 33 years. What did you do?
33.
Yeah. What did you do prior to that with them?
I've been in human resources for the bank for 32 of those years. I
Okay.
held various positions throughout human resources during that time frame.
So basically it's been human resources. That's where you get hired. That's where you've been working all that time.
Yes, human resources was a component of my job for 32 years with
Okay.
the bank. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so it's fair to say that regarding human resources, dealing employee complaint, that's something you are thoroughly an expert into, right?
Yes, I do have
No,
experience
that's
in that area. Correct.
excellent. Sounds good. Is there any type of educational degree required for you to hold that position?
No, I do not have a human resources degree.
Okay, so basically you learn, it's been a long year, so you kind of learn through the job.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. And any type of other kind of academic degree that you have, educational degree at all?
Yes, I do have a college diploma.
Okay. And first time I heard of that, what do you mean by college diploma? Because I heard of like there's a BA, bachelor's associate degree. What that
I graduated from a technical college.
technical college? Okay. And what was that about?
I have an accounting clerical diploma.
Accounting?
Correct.
Clerical. Okay. Thank you. And if you can briefly give me a description of your role and duties at
As
your
an HR advisor.
Yes.
Okay. Well, my role is really to be a resource for our colleagues and our leaders to help them through, it could be policy clarifications, it might be performance management, or, things dealing with the work environment. I do work with our leaders to come to issue resolution, whether that's developing communication strategies, again, performance management, documentation, disciplinary actions that may need to be taken, and would include making recommendations on terminations. For the colleagues, I'm a resource for them to be a tool, let them have their voice, and to work through their concerns to gain, again, either issue or clarifications for them.
Thank you. Now, is part of your role, it is to investigate issues between employees?
Yes, investigations is part of my role, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And bear with me here. Those investigations that you do, okay, that will involve investigation such as this one that will involve discrimination because of color, race, race relation.
Yes,
That
I have conducted investigations in the past involving many areas of discrimination.
And I'm just going to stop you for a second because it looked like Attorney Bullocks, you were trying to make an objection. Did you want to object to that question at all?
My objection was just to the phrase, this investigation is being vague and ambiguous, but it seems like Ms. Connaughton answered that in a general sense and talked about her role in investigating discrimination complaints.
Okay, then you can continue, Mr. Michel.
Thank you. When you do those investigations that is related to discrimination, race relation, okay? And would you say that you personally, okay, based on your professionalism, you are impartial?
Yes, that's my role as an HR professional, to be impartial.
You are also disinterested, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I did receive an email as of yesterday. I saw you sitting through here, okay, as a representative, hearing all the testimonies. You are representing the company. What does that mean? Because you were able to hear all the testimony. You will be testifying. The other witnesses are not here, but you were able to sit in. You were allowed to.
Objection, foundation, to extent it gets into attorney-client privilege issues and communications.
And I can just tell you, Mr. Michel, that every respondent has the opportunity to have a representative present for the entire hearing. That's just part of our procedure. So it doesn't matter who it is, if it's someone who's testifying or not, a representative can have anybody act as their or I should say a respondent can have anybody act as their representative for our hearings.
So,
Thank
so
you.
I also object on relevance grounds as well.
You can continue, Mr. Michel.
We will move on. Okay. Those prior race relation that you deal with involve what type of races, would you say?
I've been doing investigations for many years, so it could involve any race.
What type of races?
White, black, Hispanic, again, any race, any concern that is brought forward, we will investigate.
What about nationality? What type of nationality these people are?
I guess I don't recall doing many investigations regarding nationality.
No, that would be a no. Never did.
I don't recall any specific investigations regarding nationality.
Okay, so it could have been, you just don't recall, right?
Again, I've been doing human resources for 32 years. There's a lot of employee relation cases that I have dealt with through that time. No, I don't have a specific case.
So you never did involve anything with nationality, national.
I object, asked and answered.
That's not what she said, Mr. Michel. She said she doesn't recall how many she did, and she doesn't recall the specific nationalities involved.
Okay, so again, just if a fair clarification that I want, you don't recall, but you do not recall, but you do not say that let me just put it away. You don't recall, but you have in fact involved in issue that involve nationality rights, where one of the part of subject will be based on nationality. You have.
Same objection.
You can answer, go ahead.
No, again, I don't recall, but I'm sure that there have been situations that we have dealt with that involve nationality.
Thank you very much. Some point. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. And regarding your memo, and that's okay. I can understand that. Has it ever anywhere involved somebody from, and I'm gonna say first the name Haiti, but also in English, in American English, they say Haiti. By any chance, have you?
No, I do not have any recollection.
Not on that specifically. Okay. Now, when I mention Haiti, which is Haiti, do you know where that is? Do you know which country? Do you know my nationality? Do you have any type of history of that at all?
I don't have a lot of information about Haiti, but yes, I'm familiar with the country.
You're familiar with Haiti? The country, that's what you just said? Yeah?
I know that there is a country of Haiti. I can't provide a lot of specifics about the country itself.
What do you know about it? Just off your mind, if you were saying a little bit.
Objection, relevance.
What is the relevance, Mr. Michel?
Thank you. I just want to know again, and I will ask some specific questions.
Just answer my question first. What's the relevance of the question you're asking right now?
It's based on investigation. I want to know, what does he know? What does it know about my nationality when he was investigating my claim of harassment?
Okay, so what do you understand about the country of Haiti, Ms. Coddington?
I know that it is an island that they've gone through a number of tragedies over the last years. There's been a lot of resources, work committed to helping them redevelop or restore their country. But other than that, no, I don't have a lot of information.
Thank you. And you also know Haiti is designated. It's often on the news. You can confirm with it. It's a third world country.
Objection. It's relevance, form, foundation.
You can answer the question, Ms. Coddington.
It's Yes, I guess I was aware that it was a third world country, but it's not. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I was aware.
You also know that majority of Haitians are Black. Is that correct? You have that knowledge, that general knowledge.
Yes, that would make sense.
Okay. When you were investigating my complaint, you understand that I was Black. Is that right? Did you know at any point?
Did I look at the specific information? No, that was not pertinent to the investigation at that time.
Okay. Did you know that I was Haitian?
No, I did not.
You did not look at that at all. Okay, thank you. And bear with me, I have some lists I will go through. Bear with me here. All right. Ms. Covington, what I want to ask you next, and prior to testifying today, and during the time this case was pending, okay? You have worked and collaborated closely with lawyers and your counsel, right?
Well, I would say that when the claim was initially filed, yes, I worked with our internal legal counsel to answer questions that they had so that they could respond. Then there wasn't any involvement from my standpoint until we started to prepare for the hearing, which was what, the latter part of 2020.
Let me kind of rephrase that to see if I can get a yes or no, okay? So you have worked closely with the counsel since that case began, in the internet or in-house counsel, and Mr. Bullock, you have worked closely with them.
Yes, I did
Objection
have.
is.
Right.
All right, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right. How many lawyers have you worked with individually?
Objection, again, irrelevant.
How
And
is this relevant, Mr. Michelle? I'm not going to let you ask her questions about what the lawyers tell you, first of all. That's protected under attorney-client privilege. So if that's where you're going with this line of questions, you can stop right now.
Thank you very much. And my next question, and thank you very much, Judge. Appreciate that. I do understand Jane Walling, that's an in-house counsel, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you have worked with her, right?
I have.
Okay, all right. She's still with the company, in-house
She is
counsel?
not.
She's no longer there?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And I have to ask you that question, of course, straightforward. While you're testifying today in regard of this case, all the facts that's within it, you intended to testify truthfully, right?
I do.
Okay. And you will say all the facts that you have presented to your counsel handling this case, they were truthful, right?
Objection, I guess relevance, vague and ambiguous, foundation.
Right. What I need to know is what she's testifying to today. I don't need to know what she provided previous, Mr. Michelle.
Okay. I will skip some questions that in that regard. Help me. I'm going to use now Exhibit 1.
Is this your Exhibit 1?
Show display, the way she put the term out, I did not show a display that I will change anything. I did not show them that at all. So
but what was your question for her then?
Yeah, well, with that you read here, Ms. Codington, if you can hear me, one of the first thing, again, that's the first time I'm hearing, second time I'm hearing it. The first thing that was said, you heard when it said the email that I sent with you that I'm willing to change, Ms. Codington, the very first thing that Mrs. Gerke said, that's why I was here.
Yes, I did receive that email.
You did receive that email, and you heard Mrs. Gerke saying that?
Yes, she knew that we had received that email.
Is there any statement from what you just shared here? I hopefully you heard it clearly. Any statement that's from me that I was not willing to change at all? Did you hear anything like that?
You
Objection
did state,
relevant, but
you can answer, go ahead.
You did state in the email that you were willing to change.
Probably you misheard me. In the recording we just heard here, that was the meeting. Did you hear anything, any statement where I say I'm not willing to change? It's not going to happen.
No.
Can you draw a conclusion on this as an expert in HR?
An expert about what? Draw a conclusion
Well,
about
I
what?
mean, if you were based on what I said, okay, let me just rephrase. This is too broad. Did you get from this, from what I said, that I want to keep my job at least? Did you hear the statement? It's a long statement that I want to keep my job. Did you conclude that there? That in everything that I was saying, follow through with them, I was following along?
Yes, you did make the statement that you wanted to keep your job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Judge. I'm gonna look here. It seems like we're gonna be done, Mrs. Coddington. That's no further, not anything right now for Mrs. Coddington.
Sure. Attorney Bullocks, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask her now, or are you going to reserve until your case?
just a few things to clear up now, but I'm going to reserve the majority of my questioning for Ms. Condon for my case.
Okay.
And Judge, may I, on how that's working, if you can instruct me, please. There was something earlier as she was giving her first statement that I did not agree with. Can I
It's
read
not
what?
your time to testify yet. He gets to do his cross-examination, so let him ask the questions.
Understood.
All right, Judge, if we can go to respondent exhibit number 19.
Okay, just 1 second. Let me bring that up. Okay, so this should be exhibit 19.
Yep. All right, so Ms. Condon, I'm showing you what's been introduced into evidence as exhibit number 19. This is the this is the statement, the letter that you wrote to Mr. Michelle summarizing your investigation, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and earlier today, you testified about as part of your investigation, others had expressed frustrations regarding Mr. Michelle.
That is correct.
Okay, and I think you indicated that part of that frustration was Mr. Michelle's refusal to accept assistance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and the job of a universal banker or anybody that is in a customer facing position is to service the customer, correct?
That is correct.
And to provide a positive customer experience, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And at the end of the day, is it true that effectively assisting the customer is a priority at the bank?
Absolutely.
Okay. And when you talk about other colleagues being frustrated by Mr. Michelle, were there other things outside of, I guess, customer reactions or interactions that colleagues were frustrated with concerning Mr. Michelle? Okay, let me rephrase that. Did you receive any reports of Mr. Michelle yelling at other colleagues?
Yes.
Okay. As part of your discussion earlier on Mr. Michelle's complaint to you in February of 2016, um, there was mention of the word assault a few times. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Michelle ever report to you that Kyle Paulson assaulted him in any way?
No.
Okay. But he did indicate that he felt like an assault could be coming, correct?
Correct.
But he never said he was actually assaulted by Kyle, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And he did mention that he was touched by Barb, correct?
Correct.
And was it your testimony that that situation was investigated?
It was.
Okay. And are you aware of the results of that investigation?
They had determined that again that there were opportunities for abilities to work together between each other, and that there was coaching provided to all parties.
Okay, great. And one of the documents that you were shown was the bank's position statement in this case, correct?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, that position statement was drafted by Jane Rowland, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you draft that position statement at all yourself?
I did not.
Okay. All right. Also, in your testimony not too long ago, you were asked about Rachel Vivor, her testimony or her, I guess, report or some text messages about sexual misconduct. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Um, and Mr. Michelle asked you during his questioning whether or not you had any of the text messages that would have proven the sexual misconduct. Is that correct? Am I getting that right?
Yes,
Okay. And you indicated that you did not have any.
that is correct.
Okay. And did you or the bank take any type of adverse employment action against Mr. Michael because of these allegations of sexual misconduct by Rachel?
We did not.
And is that because those allegations were not substantiated?
That is correct. After completing the fact gathering, we determined that there was not sexual harassment that had been taken place, and we provided coaching to Willie regarding keeping conversations, communications with colleagues, especially if it involved things outside of the work, to limit those and to not cross into the personal lives of other colleagues.
Okay, okay, thank you. So this wasn't substantiated, but other things about Mr. Michael were substantiated, correct?
That is correct.
Like reports of him yelling at people, is that right?
That is correct.
And reports of him engaging
Object
in.
to that, Judge.
What's your
Let me-
objection?
You just mentioned, as a matter of fact, that yelling was substantiated. I asked for any type of substantive recording, anything. There was none.
Well, all he's saying is, was it substantiated? She's saying yes. You can have an opportunity to ask additional questions. So let's just get through his
Thank you.
questionings.
Thank you.
Is a recording, Ms. Condon, the only way to substantiate something?
No.
In your, okay, all right. So I think the question before the objection was going to be about whether or not the bank was able to substantiate that Mr. Michael may have engaged in or did engage in unprofessional behavior on several occasions?
Yes,
Okay. And given those substantiated issues from the bank's perspective, was action taken against Mr. Michael?
eventually, yes,
Okay. And eventually he was let go, correct?
that is correct.
Okay. I want to turn your attention to exhibit number 4.
Just 1 second.
Okay.
So there's exhibit 4.
Okay. And this is the letter that you sent to Mr. Michel uh, summarizing the reasons for his termination. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Okay. And I want to go to the second page of this document.
Okay.
That's your signature at the bottom?
It is.
Okay. And then I want to look at the one sentence paragraph in kind of the middle of the text here. It says, as a result of your continued unprofessional behavior, we terminated your employment effective as of October 11th, 2017. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. And that reference to, quote, continued unprofessional behavior, is that in reference to the unprofessional behavior that the bank substantiated concerning Mr. Michael?
Yes.
Okay. And did that include the yelling at people?
Yes.
Did that include being an aggressor?
Yes.
Did it include the claims of sexual misconduct?
No, we weren't able to substantiate that fact.
Okay, so only things that you're able to substantiate is what um, led to the conclusion to terminate his employment. Is
That
that
is
fair?
correct.
Okay. So, let's turn to exhibit number 21. And Judge, I just have a few more questions and I'm done
No, that's
for
fine.
now.
So there's exhibit 21.
Okay, so you talked about this exhibit earlier today as well. This is the emails between Chris Morse and Nathan. And I want to direct your attention on this exhibit to the second page of the exhibit. All right, and then there's a line here where Mr. Michel directed you to where Chris is referencing that Rachel, that Mr. Morris made sexual advances towards Rachel, saying he could satisfy her in a sexual way now that she was nearly single. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Mr. Michel, I think, asked you during his questioning who the complainer was. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you told him that the complainer was Rachel, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Um, Looking at this document right here, while Chris may have been reporting this, does that change the fact that Rachel was still the person who complained about it?
No, it does not.
Okay. There was a reference to Mr. Michael being suspended. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And he was suspended with pay, right?
Yes, he was.
And he was at that point the only colleague that was suspended, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The other colleague involved in that situation was Chris Morris, correct?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
Yeah, no problem. The other colleague involved in that whole situation was
Oh,
Chris Morris, correct?
yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah. Why was Mr. Michelle suspended and Chris was not suspended?
Well, we need to make a decision as far as, okay, we need to continue the investigation. We need to have further conversations. We need to remove someone. And so we made the decision to place Willie on the paid suspension. Again, he was going to be paid. It was getting close to where he was taking some PTO time, so he was going to be out of the branch anyway. So it just made it a better decision to have him be the one to be placed on the paid suspension.
Okay. And did any of his past conduct with yelling and conflicts with other colleagues play a factor or role in the decision to suspend him at this point?
Certainly it was taken into consideration, but because we needed to continue the investigation, it was best to remove at least one of the parties. So we chose to remove Mr. Michelle.
And was Mr. Michelle alleged to be the aggressor in that situation?
Yes, because he pursued Mr. Morse out into the branch lobby.
Okay. I have no further questions at this time, but again, the bank reserves the right to call Ms. Connaughton during this case in chief.
Sure. Mr. Michelle, do you have any other questions for Ms. Connaughton?
Yep, I have a brief rebuttal. Ms. Cottington, you mentioned just earlier, I go by memory, there was no sexual harassment substantiated. But along all of you say that many times you provide me coaching on those, and that's including the sexual harassment, right? Correct? You testify to that.
Yes, you were provided coaching on how to have personal interactions with our colleagues.
So for an allegation that is substantiated, meaning that there's no substance into it, but yet I get coaching for it.
Yes,
Is that
colleagues
right?
do get coaching, even though you might not be disciplined, you do get coaching.
I get coaching for it. Okay. And you mentioned yelling was substantiated. Is that correct? Many times you say the yelling was substantiated. Is that correct?
Yes,
How did you substantiate that? How is
through
it
the
substantiated?
fact gathering process and
Let
speaking
me,
with multiple colleagues.
okay. So it's fair for me to say the way you substantiate is that it's based on, or the colleagues themselves, the colleagues themselves, that's how you substantiated that, right? It's not independently, right? Let me just put that short. Did you get me? It's based on the other colleagues themselves. That's how you substantiate.
It's based on the fact gathering process, yes.
All right. And that means you give credibility to the colleagues of what
That,
they say over what I say. Is that correct?
yes, as part of our investigation, we need to make a decision based upon the credibility of the information gathered.
Thank you. Now, you would also, and you testify, I believe earlier, and if I could go that, I want to make sure I go over that those yelling, they occurred often, almost on a daily basis, right? Is that correct? It's not a one-time thing. It's not a one instance that I yell. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But yet, there is no independent or objective step taken by you somehow to have concrete evidence. And that will be to show that you're not biased. No concrete way that you can show me yelling at all, beside the testimony.
Objection is, I'm sorry, Mr. Michael. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so again, we already confirmed that there's many allegations of the yelling that you find to be credible. There's no attempt by you to independently somehow check on that, to have concrete evidence of it.
Objection to the term concrete evidence.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, thank you. I will find a word for that. physical evidence such as a recording, just like I just presented?
We do not have any recording mechanisms within the branches.
You did not seek that opportunity. Is
We
that
don't
right?
have that ability.
Did you seek that opportunity? I wanted to ask, to record it, to have that opportunity. Did you seek that for the investigation purpose? Did you seek out for that?
No, we have no ability to record conversations in our branch.
I just want to know if you did seek for that. I know you don't have the ability, but did you seek to that?
No.
Thank you very much. I think that's everything. That's everything. Thank you.
Any other questions from you, Attorney Bullocks?
No, not at this time.
All right. Then I see it's about 12:30. Do we want to take a short lunch break before having Mr. Van Breen testify?
Wait, yes.
Okay, so like I said, it's about 12:30. How about if we take 30 minutes, come back at 1, and then you guys can have Mr. Vanden Braden connect, and then Mr. Michelle, you can go into your questioning of him.
Thank you.
All right, does that work for everybody coming back at 1?
It does.
All right, then we will come back at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Bye-bye.